I'm Richard Hall, and we're looking through the morning headlines. As you can imagine, everything here at the moment is focusing on the games that took place last night. Inter and Juventus winning. Inter, of course, they're going one step closer to the Scudetto with that win against Sassuolo. As you no surprise because of that, you can see here the headlines of the Gazzetta dello Sport: Inter ballo Scudetto, Inter Scudetto dance. And it was a good performance by Inter, even if at some points it was a bit nervy at the end. It was very much a controlled performance for a lot of the game, but they did concede a lot of possession. When they went 2 goals up, again, Lukaku, again, Lautaro Martinez, showing just how good they are as a partnership, and have really, helped Inter to get as far as they have. Big achievement for Inter, as Gazzetta say, as we said, the Scudetto down to 10th consecutive victory. They're almost uncatchable. Conte said, people don't like our style, then let's go to a stylist. It'd be nice to unseat Juventus, slide his old team there. Looks as though it is a possibility that Inter could do that, especially because now, they are really setting some records and looking quite convincing. The run-up until they face Juventus and Roma later on in the season, Conte and the Inter management wanting to have this title wrapped up. We see here as well in the Corriere dello Sport, Lukaku Senza Freni, which basically Lukaku's unstoppable, and at the moment he is. They talk about the fact that Antonio Conte spoke after the game saying the Sun criticised the purchase of Lukaku, saying that he was overweight, he didn't have a good first touch, and etc. and that he was overpriced. But look at him now, and he's got a point because he was criticised quite heavily. Inter again obviously feature in the in Tuttosport, should I say. They say that Inter way goodbye because they're plus 11 now, ahead of Milan. Lukaku and Martinez impeccable. And Sassuolo knocked down 2, 10th consecutive victory for Nerazzurri, should I say. And they're saying it increasingly looks like that title is locked down. So, huge for Inter, but again, I think that even most ambitious Inter fans even saw a little bit of that Pazza last night, just at the end of the game, and it was very nervy, and mustn't forget that. Juventus, we talked about them. I mean, there's a lot of talk about, in the past paper reviews we've done, just looking at the fact of Andrea Pirlo and the pressure he's been under. But it was a good night for Juventus. Here, Pirlo feeling the joy. CR7 and the rediscovered Dybala saved the coach. Dybala, after the criticism he's been under, the party with McKennie and Artur, and yet last night he scored a superb goal, and it says they saved the coach. Juve now 3rd, Napoli wake up late. It was a pretty poor performance from Napoli, but Juventus, you can't take anything away from them. They win 2-1, and Buffon as well decisive too. Definitely worth a mention there that his exploits last night at his ripe old age, still seeing him have some influence, which is always good to see for any fan of Italian football. Dybala, you can see here, Dybala C'è Magia, and Corriere dello Sport. He, excuse me, it says here, Pirlo, a pity we dropped points before. Dybala, what magic. And it was a superb goal. If you've not seen it, definitely worth tuning in and having a look at the highlights for that. Tuttosport, of course, we'd imagine to talk about Juventus, and I quite like this headline here with there, Juve era ora, basically, it's Juve, it's about time. They're saying Ronaldo, and finally Dybala. He comes on, immediately scores, and beats a great Napoli. They've got a bit of a different twist on it. The Napoli were great. They were maybe hard to break down, but I wouldn't say great. Pirlo smiles and pushes away crisis. So what else have we got in the papers today? There's a lot on Roma, obviously, there. In the Europa League tonight against Ajax, they say here in Gazzetta that Roma defend Italy and Fonseca. Fonseca, obviously, we've mentioned before, under quite a lot of pressure at the moment, and it's up to Roma, of course, to be Italy's sole representative against Ajax tonight. So coach gambles it all with Ajax and relies on Edin Dzeko. Not a bad guy to rely on, if you're completely honest. So quite an interesting take here as well from Corriere dello Sport. We need a perfect Roma. The Europa League first leg of the quarter-final. Fonseca again launches Dzeko. Ajax are strong, but we are motivated. Well, it's a good job because the rest of Italy weren't this season in Europe. So what else have we got here? We're looking to Tuttosport again, just talking on Roma, should I say. Go Roma, you are Italy. It's the tendency in all the papers to be backing the Romans tonight to go and do a job, and who knows, maybe save Fonseca's job in the process. Interesting little story here. The Galacio Museum, there was the Grande Torino trophy, the great Torino side, who tragically perished in the plane crash. The trophy had disappeared, and as often you get these little stories in the Italian papers sometimes. Where has it gone? The mystery again. But Tuttosport came to the rescue and found it, so that's worth a bit more of a deeper read. What else have we got here? Milan. Yes, of course. I forgot to mention this. It's saying it, the Milan derby for Milinkovic. Both Inter and Milan going for him, and the race is on for defenders. Obviously, going to be quite an interesting. We've mentioned this before, I think, but quite an interesting summer because of the COVID pandemic and just what teams are going to spend, what bargains are going to be spent, and who's out of contracts. So, lots of interesting developments this summer. To go alongside the Euros. Every single paper, even though it's not completely about Serie A, just acknowledges Super Mbappe, what a brace. Corriere, Mbappe show, buying KO. That's a good headline. And it's also talked about in Tuttosport that he was Super Mbappe takes down Bayern. So they've also touched in Tuttosport, Pessina and Inzaghi, both positive. With COVID, so again, he's the 8th player now to be infected, and obviously Lazio coach being in isolation as well, not particularly great. That seems to just continue to roll out. Just a quick touch on one we'd mentioned yesterday about the Euros having fans and everyone being able to attend in Rome. It says here in Corriere dello Sport, the Euro fans, virologists, can't talk this morning, hits the brakes, so maybe there could be some developments there, so don't take that for granted. And that pretty much wraps up the papers for this morning. As I said before, massively heavily focused on Inter, massively heavily focused on Juventus. It looks like it's going to be a title for the Nerazzurri, but the Bianconeri look to be back on track as well, so it's definitely going to be a race to the finish, and we can't discount Milan either. So for me, it's ciao for now. Grazie.